Okay, and welcome to this new video where we're going to be, or new series, should I say, where we're going to be looking at the free assets that we can get in the Unreal Marketplace, and we're going to be applying them to a project or creating a new project as an example. In this case, I have got my third-person tutorial up, and we are going to add the trail pack. Okay, so this was free. I think it is still free on the marketplace, but you'll need to go grab it. But you can follow along if you have any sword trail animation, particle effect, sorry, because it's the particle effect that we're going to be applying to the sword swing today. So let me just show you where we are at the moment. We have this character that can block and swing her sword. She doesn't have a combo or anything like that, but what we want to do is when she swings her sword, we want there to be a trail that follows that sword. Okay, so how we do that is that we need to open up the player and then go to the player mesh, and it's the player skeleton that we're going to need. So let's open up the player skeleton. And we're going to need to create some sockets like we did for the hand when we are holding the sword. So let's grab the right hand socket or the bone and come over here, and we want to add a socket. Okay, and we want that socket to be the beginning of the trail. So sort of line that up with the sword base the best you can. And also it helps if the axis is facing down the sword like that. Okay, that really helps. Now that's not right because that's the Z. Yeah, that would be right. That's the Z axis. That would be the Z axis on the sword. Okay. Now with that, I'm going to come down here and I'm going to change the name to sock 1. Oh, we've already got a sock 1. So we already have these sockets here that we might be able to use. But instead I'm going to set up their own, right? So just in case you haven't followed along and you're just in a blank project, I'm just going to go along and I'm going to rename this trail sock 1. Okay. And then I'm going to come to the right hand again. I'm going to right click on it and I'm going to add socket. Okay. And then I'm going to try my best to get this right at the end. Sword. This can be difficult. In 3D space, it's hard to tell exactly where you are. So just line that up best you can. We'll leave that there for now. We can come back and change that, but we just need to call this trail sock 2. Okay, so now we've got that. What we need to do is we need to open up the actual animation that we want to attach the trail to. So if we go into animations and go into animation BP, and just so that I can check exactly what animation it is that she's using and there's no confusion. So if we go to the locomotion and have a look at our attack, open that up, and we are using the sword and shield slash. So the sword and shield slash, that one. Right, which is good. So I think we could just open up that from here actually. So sword and shield slash, if I double click on that, it will then open up the animation. Now we already have a notifier here, so we need to add another notify just by clicking on that plus button there, and then I'm going to hit pause and hide my recording software stuff, and I'm going to find the point at which I want the sword trail to start up. Oh, the sword goes right to her head. Probably not the best thing for it to do. I want the sword trail to start around here. Okay, so I'm going to right click and I'm going to add notify state, but this time we don't have to create one. It's already got a trail notification state for us. So if we just click there and then extend that, so the first part is where the trail will start, and this second part is where it will end. So if we just find where we want the sword trail to end, about there for now, let's say, because that's when the attack is active. Now you'll see I could line it up exactly when this is active, but I want it to be a little bit longer each side than that. And again, we can come and play around with this. Now, in order to get this working though, we need to come to the details here. Okay, and then it's going to ask us, first off, what template particle effect we want to use, and we'll get to that in a second. But it's this bit that's the most important for us right now, is the first socket name. Okay, so if you remember, that was trail sock 1, and then the next one was trail sock 2. Okay, now let's go and have a look at our particle effects. So let's minimize this, go to our content folder, and we've got this trail pack. Now, like I say, this came free with the UE4's marketplace. Every month they have a bunch of free stuff. And if we have a look at our particles, we've just got loads of different ones. So a corrosion, dark, elemental, ink. That sounds interesting. Let's have a look at that. Sword trail. And we have here the ink shadow and the ink trail. So we'll click on the ink trail so it's selected. And then go back and open up our animation. And then click on the arrow there. And that will pop that into there. Now, it's giving us a no image here. So in the past, when I've had that, it generally means that there's something wrong with the actual particle or the trail. So it's compiling the shader, so we won't see it while that's happening, but usually you do see sort of a gray swoosh or something like that. So I'm a little worried that this isn't actually going to work for some reason. But what we'll do if it doesn't is we'll go through and see if there are any in the pack that have come through properly. But we'll just let the shaders compile. While that's happening, I'll just pause the video. Okay, and we're back, and it does work. So it looks fantastic as well. So let me just get back to where we were. So after the shaders compile, now when I scrub through the frames, you'll see, oh no, it doesn't work. But if you just hit play, you'll see that it actually does work. And that looks amazing. Okay, it really adds a lot to your sword attack. Now, you might not want that on all the time, and you might want to change it around. So again, we've got a few of these to play with. So let's have a look at a different one. So let's go back to this and let's see what's strong. Now, you'll see as well that all of these come with, so if I go and hit the enemy, then we can play some of these particles back, which is hopefully something we'll set up in a minute. But I just want to have a look at this. So strong trail, open it up, grab that, go back to our animation, grab it by just clicking it, and then click here on the arrow and it will replace it. And again, you can see it's actually added it already, but it's not loaded the shader up yet. So that's just going to take a minute. Again, I'll pause the video. Okay, so we're back on. Right, so this is that one. Looks cool, but I definitely prefer the other one. So I'm gonna go back and set that one up. I'm not going to go through any more, but obviously, if you were setting this up in your own project, you'd want to go through and have a look at all of these to make sure which one fits your character in your game the best. But I love this ink one. I think this is super cool. And I don't know what this ink shadow is. I've no clue what that is. So we're going to have to go investigate that. It doesn't look to have a reactionary. So maybe we should choose one that does actually have the reactionary animation. So let's have a look at elemental. This has sparks. So yeah, let's try this one. So I am going to try another one, even though I said I wouldn't. Ooh, this is a more complicated one. This is interesting. Inner, main, outer. So let's try main. I've never set up a particle effect that has three components to it like this, so I don't intend to do that now, but I just want to have a look at this main one. Go back to the animation. Click on that. Okay, that's not taking long to come through this time. Okay, yeah, I definitely would like to play around with that. But no, that's not what I'm after. So let's just find one that has so magic, trail sparks, and a hit. Okay, cool. We're going to go for that. All right, so let's go for the magic one. Add that to our animation. Okay, and while that's all happening, I'm going to go in and do the code for when they get hit. Okay, so that will be in here, in the enemy. I believe so anyway. It's been a while since I've been in here, so we'll just double check. And hopefully I've commented everything. Yeah, okay, so when he takes damage, we've already got a emitter being spawned, which is fine. But now we want this magic emitter, so we're going to Control CV to copy that. Plug it in. Plug that into the location, so it's just exactly the same setup as before. Scale set to 2, so we might want to come back and change that. And then it's in the magic hit. And we've got a finisher and a soft hit. So we'll go for the soft hit first. See what happens there. And it's the enemy BP. So click on the little arrow there, and that's going to add that. And then we'll have the delay. And then we turn take damage off. And there's another delay that resets the do once. Okay, so that should only happen once. So we compile that. Let's go and have a look. Now we're compiling shaders still. So that's not going to work as intended because we're compiling shaders. So let's... okay. Not giving me the full thing yet, I don't think, because of the shaders compiling. But let's go and hit him and see if we see grey squares pop out. And if it do, we know that it's working. Oh. Okay, yeah. You saw that? That was the particle effect without any transparency or anything like that. Oh no, he's hitting me. So my block hit him again. Doosh. Oh, and he got me. He got me, and he broke my mesh as well. Okay, so them shaders are going to compile soon, with any luck, and then we can wrap this video up. I will just pause it while we wait. All right, so we're all loaded in. Let's hit play. So there's our magical trail working, looking nice, and it has like a color shift in it as well. It's really nice. And then when we hit the guy, he plays a magical hit. So that if you didn't want a constant magic weapon, you could just add that and have a boolean on it so that it'll only play when you're doing a certain kind of attack and stuff like that. So yeah. Before we end the video, though, I just want to go and have a look at what the shadow is. So I'm just going to go and apply that to the mesh's animations and see. I don't have it selected. Okay, no. See what actually that does, because I'm just curious. We might as well do it in the video. So it's just going to compile the shaders, and then see, because maybe you just put them on both of the trails on at once. That's what I'm thinking. And we'll try that and see what that looks like. So I'll pause the video. Okay, so let's have a look at that. And hit play, and you'll see it just adds like another layer to it. So what I'm going to do is I've added another notify timeline here by just clicking on the plus. And then I'm just going to add the trail on top of that. So, but I'm going to make it a little longer, or maybe a little shorter. Let's try a little shorter first. So I notify state trail, and then so that first one will last a little bit longer, so it'll seem to sort of phase out or something. Maybe. Like I said, I've not done this before. So trail 1, trail 2, and then let's choose this ink trail, which is the main body of it, I believe, and then put that in there, and then hit play. And you can see it starts with that first trail. Now, if you want that to be more extreme, you can just bring this in a little bit and then hit play. Yeah, you see, so that it only really has that ink part, but it still has a trail that goes. Yeah, that looks really cool. Okay, so I'm going to leave that there. Hope you enjoyed that one. The next video series is going to be a bit of a special one where I try and create and release a game for under £20. So I'm going to buy some assets, but I'm going to do a video and explain it all. So look out for that soon. See you in the next one.